Ku Klux Klan back there then. They didn't care about what they bombed.
Today we remember the 4 little girls killed in the bombing of 16th Street Baptist Church. We are live with a look at this year's ceremonies.
And plus we hear from Lisa McNair, whose sister was killed on that day in 1963. She discusses her new book titled Dear Denise.
I never heard what she sounded like or anything like that. It makes you wonder what it would have been like when I was struggling with different things.
Now on WVTM 13 News at 4.
59 years since a bomb went off at a Birmingham church, killing 4 little girls. Scenes like this, the aftermath rocking the nation.
Yeah, today the city coming together to honor the lives of Addie Mae Collins, Carol Robertson, Cynthia Wesley, and Denise McNair. Thank you so much for joining us here at 4 o'clock. I'm Brittany Decker.
And I'm Sherry Falk. September 15th, 1963 was like any other day until it wasn't. Founded in 1873, the congregation at 16th Street Baptist Church had been filling the pews each and every Sunday for 90 years. There was no reason to think this Sunday would be any different. And then it happened. A bomb exploding at 10:24 in the morning.
22 people were injured. 4 innocent little girls were killed that day. Again, Addie Mae Collins, Carol Robertson, Cynthia Wesley, and Denise McNair were getting ready for Youth Day. They would never make it home.
At the time, witnesses were reluctant to talk. The FBI had suspects but couldn't make an arrest. The charges would not be filed in the decade following the bombing. 16th Street Baptist Church would reopen in 1964. Its congregants still left to wonder who would plant a bomb at their church.
They would get that answer in the 1970s. Robert Chambliss was arrested and sentenced to life in 1977. By the 1990s, the case was reopened by the FBI. By the year 2000, 2 more men, Bobby Cherry and Thomas Blanton, were arrested and sentenced to life in prison. The 4th suspect, Herman Cash, had died in 1994. All of them were members of the Ku Klux Klan.
The city coming together on this 59th anniversary of the horrific bombing. WVTM 13's Lisa Crane joins us live outside of the church this afternoon. And Lisa, you were at the service. How would you describe it?
Well, it was somber, of course, which you would expect considering what everyone was here to remember, the horrific events of 59 years ago. But it was also very uplifting. The message was about how to find light in the darkness and hope in tragedy.
Hope says my tomorrow is going to be better than my yesterday. My future is going to be greater than my past. And where I'm going is going to be greater than where I came from.
Dr. Tony Evans from Dallas, Texas, delivered that message today, and he spoke to a packed audience. Hundreds filed into this historic church, including several buses of school children on field trips. Afterwards, those in attendance talked about what we all need to do now.
I'm hopeful that someday, Lisa, we'll get beyond symbolic and ceremonial presentations and get about the business of really genuinely loving and caring for each other, pulling together as one, dropping the color issues and getting into character issues.
Mim says it's important to remember what happened here, not just on every September 15th, but every day of the year. Church leaders also took the opportunity today to cut the ribbon, officially opening the 16th Street Parsonage right next to the church. They've spent years and more than $2 million to restore and repurpose the building that was erected in 1914. It's now a museum dedicated to 3 prominent black businessmen who helped shape Birmingham. One is Wallace Rayfield, an architect who designed the church. The museum is named in his honor. Now, Denise McNair was one of the 4 young girls killed here in this church 59 years ago, and 1 year after her death, her little sister Lisa was born. Now, Lisa never even met her sister, but says Denise had a profound impact on her life. Just this week, she released a book titled Dear Denise, Letters to the Sister I Never Knew. She says she wanted to tell her story and give people a look inside her family during the peak of the civil rights movement.
When I was thinking about writing my memoir, said you should write it to your sister, because your sister, you had a sister, you would be able to tell her everything. And I thought, what a wonderful way to tell my story, but I just have a conversation with her.
And that's exactly what she did. She says the book was a way to find herself and connect with a sister she never knew. And Sarah Collins Rudolph is another woman closely connected to this tragic anniversary. She's the sister of Addie Mae Collins, who died in the bombing. Sarah survived the blast but was injured that day. She says she's forced to live with what happened to her and thinks about it every single day.
I'm reminded of it every day, you know, since when I look in the mirror, I see the scars on my face and see the prosthetic, so that just make me remember what happened here.
We have much more coverage for you available right now on WVTM13.com or WVTM13's app. Check out the Black History section where you can find a variety of stories highlighting the Black community, from women breaking barriers to important moments in history. It is all free to download on all devices. And coming up on WVTM 13 News at 5 o'clock, we're going to hear from Vice President Kamala Harris. She addressed the bombing while speaking in Washington, D.C. today. Hear what she had to say. That's coming up at 5. Live in Birmingham, Lisa Crane, WVTM 13.
The state of Alabama is responding to a death row inmate's request for a new execution method.
A federal judge setting a 5 p.m. deadline for the answer on the nitrogen hypoxia method. So this has never been used in any state as an execution method. Right now, Alan Miller is set to die next week by lethal injection. He is asked to die by nitrogen hypoxia. So this method forces the inmate to breathe only nitrogen, essentially depriving them of oxygen. We are live at the bottom of the hour to tell you how the state is responding to this request.
New at 4, it's thanks but no thanks for the city of Birmingham. You'll remember Waterworks Board Chairman Christopher Rice resigned on September 6th. Now he's trying to rescind that decision and saying that it was under, quote, duress and without authority. The city, however, says that his resignation cannot be withdrawn.
WVTM 13 Live Doppler, your 3-minute advantage.
What a week it has been so far. We have several more dry days coming up, a few scattered cumulus clouds in our skies this afternoon, but otherwise we're talking the dry pattern continues. Your weather headlines: extended period of dry weather, rain chances very low during this time. Tropical storm Fiona in the Atlantic Ocean. Hopefully it stays over the Atlantic, but that's not a certain thing as we go through the next several days. Right now on the WVTM 13 Live Doppler, it is dry, no sign of any rain. 82 at Coleman and Haleyville, 84 in Gadsden and Birmingham, 83 Tuscaloosa, 84 degrees in Alabaster. Your forecast for the high school games tonight look like this. Skies overhead mostly clear, comfortably warm at kickoff, about 79 degrees, falling down to about 71 or so toward the end. Your 12-hour forecast will be clear tonight, 69 by 11, overnight lows in the low to mid 60s. Some changes in temperatures down the road, more on that in just a few minutes. Sherry.
New details tonight in a deadly incident at Joe Piper Incorporated on Industrial Drive. We've learned that 55-year-old Bonnie Chancellor died while trying to fix a jammed paper machine. Birmingham Fire responded around 7 o'clock last night. The incident is being investigated as an industrial accident.
President Biden is expected to meet with the family of Brittany Griner tomorrow. It's the first in-person meeting between the two sides. Griner has been in Russian custody now for a month. 2 months back, the Biden administration said it made a proposal to get Griner home. At this hour, a deal has not been reached. Griner is serving 9 years in Russia for carrying vape cartridges containing cannabis oil. A deal in place to avoid a rail workers' strike, but just as President Biden is celebrating the win, the president now is facing new scrutiny over his border policy.
As Alice Barr explains, 2 governors are sending undocumented migrants to what they call sanctuary cities.
Today, 2 tracks of political gamesmanship on union rights and immigration. President Biden celebrating a tentative deal to avert a rail workers' strike that would have meant major disruptions to passenger service and the nation's supply chain.
This agreement is a big win for America.
Administration officials say the president was heavily involved in the 20 hours of negotiations that went into this deal, bringing freight workers better pay and health care provisions.
This is a win for tens of thousands of rail workers and for their dignity.
It's also a win for the administration amid growing fears another supply chain disruption would have accelerated inflation. But the president faces fresh challenges on another political flashpoint. Busloads of undocumented migrants being dropped off today outside the vice presidential residence in Washington.
They were not expecting to be left in this residential area for an even stronger political statement.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott sending the buses to protest immigration policies, tweeting, "VP Harris claims our border is secure and denies the crisis." It comes just one day after Florida Governor Ron DeSantis claimed credit for sending 2 planes of migrants to Martha's Vineyard in Massachusetts. Senators reacting to the escalating Republican strategy.
Using migrants as pawns in their political campaigns.
It's a terrific idea. I don't know how else to get President Biden's and Vice President Harris's attention to the broken borders.
For the Biden administration, setbacks and success on a fast track to the midterm elections. Going back to the rail issue, labor unions still have to vote to approve this tentative deal, though all signs are sounding confident. Amtrak is also working to restore long-distance routes it had preemptively canceled in anticipation of that now averted strike. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
All right, we're keeping a very close eye on traffic conditions. I do want to tell you about one accident at this hour. This is Highway 280 westbound. One lane is blocked at this time. This is right near Grandview Parkway and 459. If we can pull up a traffic camera, I believe that we do have a shot of what the scene actually looks like right now. Of course, Highway 280, a very busy commute time, especially for this time of day. And this is a look right now. We see at least looks like two lanes that are blocked on Highway 280. We do see that cars are trying to maneuver their way around the scene of whatever's going on here. Not exactly sure if it was an accident or if they are trying to clear some type of a scene, but we will keep you updated on traffic conditions. Again, this is 459 and 280 westbound area. We'll keep you updated.
We're 3 days in, and the Jennifer Hudson Show is a smash sensation. It debuted this week right here on WVTM 13. And before the first show, WVTM 13's Carla Wade sat down with Jennifer to chat about the new show and her remarkable career.
Jennifer Hudson has done it all. She's the winner of an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony Award, making her the youngest person to ever get the coveted EGOT status. She tells me as a talk show host, she wants to focus on people who inspire and uplifting stories. Is preparing to do a daytime talk show any different for preparing those other projects that you've done?
That is such a great question. It's weird because normally if you're preparing for a tour or a performance, you're learning a song, right? Or you're learning some type of show setup or whatever. Or a character, you're studying the character and you're building that. But with this, it's like, okay, be you. Wait, I feel like I should be doing something. Wait, be me? What does that mean? You know what I mean? Okay, but that's why my goal is, or the signal to know I'm on the right track is having fun. If I'm not having fun, then I'm not doing my job.
The Jennifer Hudson Show airs every weekday at 2, right after Tamron Hall, right here on WVTM 13.
If you haven't seen our new afternoon lineup, what are you waiting for? Check this out. Tamron, Jennifer Hudson, and Kelly Clarkson. There's only one place where you can watch them all. That's right here on WVTM 13. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.